So this episode, we're gonna put a pillar cluster in. It's a tri-pillar, and we're gonna do pyro, boost, and fuel pressure. So it's gonna go nice up on the side here. Why is there smoke coming out of my truck? I think it's on fire. We better get the fire extinguisher. Where's the fire extinguisher?
Smells good.
We're from Canada, this is legal.
So we're gonna bring the Duramax into the heated barn now and start working on it again. Hopefully we'll get going on some odometer gauges, and let's go see if she fires up. It's been sitting for about a month.
Ready to hit the drag strip.
Yeah, we're gonna take it racing. Like that. Hey, what's going on? That's a big puddle.
Looks pretty wet.
That does not look good. Hey, there's more up here. I think something froze, eh? It looks like we have a coolant leak coming down the backside of the motor. Very unfortunate. This truck sat in negative 40 degrees Celsius for a couple days at least, and I was hoping nothing went wrong, but apparently it did. So we've got some GM vegetable tablets and some GM juice. It's orange Gatorade, and we're just gonna top up the coolant. We haven't fired it up with noticing this leak yet, so we'll see what happens. Hopefully it doesn't piss coolant everywhere. So let's put the GM vegetable powder in there. It says don't get on your skin.
So use your hand as a funnel.
So use your hand as a funnel. What Mike said.
It's smoking.
It's smoking. This is the scary part. So now I'm gonna go find the keys and we're gonna fire it up. All right, so we're gonna grab some fuel line and a jack and cutters and stuff, and we'll be right back. Looks like it's only like 1/4 inch return line. So that means I'll have to get some hose from work. So we got a line that's a little bit crusty. We're gonna have to find out what size it is and get a piece of hose for it. So we're fixing the fuel line that was leaking. What I did is I disconnected the line that comes from the tank. It's like a braided line. Then I'm gonna cut this off in the rotten part, chop the rotten piece out, put a piece of 3/8 rubber fuel line in there, and flare it on both sides and double clamp it.
I'm not on the YouTube.
You are now.
I don't want to be on the YouTube. So I'm buying these rusty pieces of steel to put them on my nicer looking truck than this.
It's a gasser.
Down she comes.
It's so easy.
There, so that's $12.50 for that one if you don't take the other one off.
Definitely worth $12.
They're still solid.
Definitely worth $12.50.
Just gotta paint it.
Yes.
You can even have the hardware for it. What? So we got this side off. This side was all solid. So we're gonna yank the other side off. I think it's pretty rusty, so it might just fall off if we like step on it or something. So it's loose. Pretty rotten, I think. Wow. I think we better get that looked at. First step is pull out this inner wheel well liner so we can see where we're going to put our EGT probe. So now that we got the inner wheel well out, we're going to take a look and see where we're going to put the EGT probe. as you can see, we got different up pipes here and a different down pipe that's wrapped. We also have new cylinder heads and all new gaskets and everything, and new glow plugs.
Hey, what's that in your?
Oh, that's just a spark plug. It ignites all the old fuel coming out. I think that looks like a spark plug. I'm gonna go ask Mike. Mike, does this look like a spark plug for a diesel?
Yeah.
Pretty carboned up though, we better get a new one. New video, who dis? So we're putting grease all over this tab, so that way, when I tap out the hole for the old EGT probe that was in there, that it's a little bit different thread, and a little bit smaller. So we're just gonna re-tap it to the right tap that we got from our buddy Hoagie 16, what's the rest of the number?
85.
Hoagie 1685. He helped us out and gave us this tap, so we're gonna use it. And the reason we have grease on it, I forgot to explain, is so that shavings don't fall in the manifold, they come back out. Okay. So on these Duramaxes, the ideal position is right here on the passenger side manifold. So you need to drill it out and tap it. I use the same I use the same tap as we used in another video with Hoagie 1685. If you want to see how to do all that process, just go over, check his video out. The link will be in the description. Once you get this fitting in, you want to make sure that the key that's going to hold the probe is in the bottom approximately. Then you need to put the probe in about 2/3 of the way, and then just gently tighten down the key, because you don't want to crush that probe. That probe's the expensive part.
Barely snug it.
Barely snug it.
Right.
About 1.5 foot-pounds. This is the Autometer EGT probe, and when you're cutting these off, just be careful not to cut the wire. So now this needs to run across the engine, through the firewall and across the engine bay. I have to find somewhere to berth this probe through a grommet in the firewall.
So our EGT wire is run. It's the shortest and cleanest distance, and we really want people to know we have it, so we put it up nice on the top of the motor. Right, Josh?
Yep. So I'm running wires neatly in loom for all these gauges. Everything under here is neat because we're gonna have to come back and put more stuff down here, so we want it to be nice out of the way. So now we're gonna do the fuel pressure gauge install on a Duramax with a fast lift pump. So they only gave us about 8 feet of wire. That's not gonna cut it. So going down to the center, we're gonna extend it. And then I'll read the instructions after that, make sure that it's all good, because we might mess up the pressure because of length of wires and stuff. But we'll find out. Anyways, we're gonna use these 3 wires to run from the fast pump all the way up to the gauge. So it's gonna take about 2 seconds to put the purple wire to the purple wire, gray wire to the blue wire, and black wire to the black wire. So now we just have to wrap these all together so that they touch all the time, and now we just go do the back ones. Yep, it says sport comp. That means it gives you horsepower because sport, and it's very competitive. So now you just have to install your sensor into your fast lift pump, and then you plug it in and you're done. And it will leak fuel if you have run your truck at all with your fast in it. In the glow shift video, they didn't show you that. I found that out, so I'm letting you know.
But this is Autometer. It's different.
This is Autometer. It's better. So we used a wrench that didn't fit to get it started, and then found out that a 7/8 socket works. So do that, just snug it up. You don't need to crank her down tight, or you'll probably strip it, because it's just 1/8 inch new pipe thread. So is it new pipe thread or northern pipe thread? It's NPT, TP, NTP.
North toilet paper.
North. Yes, that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Northern toilet paper. It's a little bit colder than the southern toilet paper.
But it still works. I can't see what I'm doing.
I can't either.
There we go. I heard it click. That must mean it's good. Now we wipe down the diesel that was dripping off the filter. Put this underneath here, and then we check if it's leaking.
Now remember kids, always reuse and recycle. No, seriously, don't ever dump that back in your diesel tank because it's just gonna clog your filters. But I'm Dutch and injectors are gonna be easy to change anyways, right? So let's do it.
Whoa, there's a light and there's some pressure.
So fuel pressure is all wired up. Next is boost, and then once all three are done, we're gonna put them in the pillar. So we're in between episodes right now. So if you wanna see why my truck is in this sad position where it gets torn apart, you will have to stay tuned because we're gonna have to get it retuned. But now, back to the boost gauges. There's a whole bunch of air in this box. So we're taking the S&B intake off, so make sure you take your S&B intake off. You're gonna do a boost install. Just one clamp here and one clamp up here. If you don't have an S&B intake, you better get one before you install it or you can't take your S&B intake off. Huh? This intercooler pipe that goes to the Y bridge is from Sinister Diesel. This Sinister Diesel kit has a hole in the back for you to screw your boost fitting in. So you don't have to drill into the intercooler piping or anything. You just take the intake off, screw this in, put your boost line into your gauge, and you're good to go. So we're gonna run the boost line and then we'll hook it all together. Josh just ran this through the firewall. He has all he needs inside there, so now we gotta run it. I'm guessing he wants to run it along this back. We're using this add-a-fuse circuit to get power for the gauges. All the powers are tied together and all the grounds are tied together. Now we just have to ground this out and plug this into the ignition fuse. Then you wrap the wires up the best you can and you just cover it all up. That's pretty good. Should I fire it up? Serve is 4-wheel drive. I guess we ain't firing it up. We're done. So now we're gonna work on the next episode, and you guys better show up next week because it's what's gonna make this truck the best truck I have ever owned.